My name is Floratos, also known as Steve. I was born in Patras, Greece in 1946, 15th of December. My parents was Panagiotis and Androniki Floratos. My father was born in the island of Kefalonia in the Adriatic, the Ionian Islands. And my mother was born in Heraklion, Crete. My father was seasonal work, like he worked in sultana processing factories, he worked at quarries, he worked at olive crushing factories, all kind of jobs. My mother, she had 5 kids to raise. The eldest one is Elpiniki. The second eldest is Stella. There's a brother, I've got 40. There's Maria, still in Greece, and myself, the last one. My earliest memories growing up is there was never enough food on the table for all of us to eat. We had to share, somebody had to do without sometimes. My grandfather's name was Foti, and my grandmother's name was Elpiniki. I was very young when they died, and they were very sick, and I don't remember conversing with them at all. They were lovely old people to visit, but I don't remember anything about them. I enjoyed the primary school because I was only 1 or 2 boys in my class because of a very small school. And but going to the high school after, I found it hard because I knew all along I'll end up in Australia, and I wasn't paying a lot of attention to. But I got through 4 grades before I came here. Yeah, I did enjoy it very much. Yeah. I had a favorite subject is history, geography, and religious instructions. Mainly the ancient, Greek ancient, the gods and the heroes, the Hercules and the Theseus and all these guys, yeah. It was fascinating reading through it, yeah. I don't know what I wanted to be when I left school because I knew sometimes I had to leave school to come to Australia, and I had no plans. I just wanted a new life. And whatever comes along, I'll take it. I had no plans, I had no dreams of become something. I did like singing and all that sort of stuff, but just amateur stuff, yeah. 3 of my siblings were already here, and the reports we're getting, they were great. It was a great country, and they're sending us gifts and all this sort of stuff, you know. Yeah, I had no decision to make. It was just my foregone conclusion that I had to come to Australia, that's it. I was 17 years old when I left Greece. Yeah. I left Greece in 1969, 31st of December, New Year's Eve in 1963, and with a boat called Patris, and it was 28 days they took us to get to Sydney. We stopped at Fremantle, yes. It's a funny story. We stopped at the wharfs at night time, and a group of us that we made some friends on the boat, we went to this little kiosk to get a drink, Coca-Cola or something like that. And I saw these wharfies, these workers, getting these things like, well, I thought it was tiropita, cheese pie, but I didn't know what it was, so I gave them 2 shillings, they gave me a bag and a Coke, and I came outside and took a bite, and all this black stuff came out of it. It was a pie, a meat pie, and I threw it in the sea. I never tasted another pie for 40 years. So that was my venture. Then we stopped in Melbourne. We stopped in Melbourne for a day or something, and then we got to Sydney, 28th of January, Australia Day. I was met by my 2 sisters and my brother. They came to the wharf, Plymouth 13, I think it was, yes. And it was a big big, huge room, you know, like, and all our bags were there and everything, and people yelling and screaming. They recognised from outside. So I could hear my name, Spilio, Spilio. I went closer and it was this man yelling, but it wasn't my brother. So anyway, I got closer and then I saw my sisters. They didn't have a voice strong enough for me to hear him. So this fellow got sick of listening to him, Spilio, Spilio, yeah. So he yelled. So I went over and then I just went around the corner, I had a little cry. My first house, home that I was in Mascot, yeah. Oh my, I don't know about Mascot. To me it was just a new land, a new place, nothing like Patra. The thing that impressed me is this. We were talking in the lounge room there with my brother and my brothers-in-law, and then all of a sudden the girl says, "Come on boys, the dinner is ready." So I went to the dining room and there was this huge table full of food. And I says, "Are we having a party? Is other people coming?" He says, "No, it's for..." He says, "You eat like this every day?" Ah, that's a good chance for me to love Australia from the first day. Yeah, never regretted it. I couldn't speak a word of English. Oh, yeah, 3 words: mother, father, and water. That's all I knew. Although I wasn't speaking in English, but I didn't find it hard to communicate because I work in a factory that there were people there, although they couldn't pronounce my name, that's why I became Steve instead of Spilios. They were helping me out. See, plus I was a hard little worker, you know. No, I had no challenges at all. My first job, it was at a factory make springs for mattresses, right? And it was next door. I used to walk to it, which is Botany. Worked there for about a year, yeah. And then I worked with my brother in a big, huge delicatessen, Greek delicatessen in Darlinghurst in Sydney, near Oxford Street, Burke Street, yeah. It was a huge delicatessen when my second job there. It had all this Greek stuff from Greece and drinks and ouzos and all that stuff there. And I stayed there for about 6 months. Then I found work in my trade, because although I was young in Greece, I was working as a floor sander, right? Doing parquetry and all that sort of stuff, yeah. So I found work and I got my own business after. Darlinghurst, Oxford Street, it was a lot of milk bars, Greek milk bars and delicatessens around the place, hairdressing saloons. Yeah, it was a Greek centre, yeah, it was. It was a club just around the corner from there. After Mascot, I live in Redfern for a little while, and from there I just get the bus and go into Oxford Street. Okay, I didn't leave Sydney, I came for holidays. I came for holidays to Brisbane with a friend of mine in 1967, towards Christmas time. And by accident, we visited my wife's parents. They had the macadamia nut factory in Slacks Creek. And then they insisted that I stay for New Year's Eve celebrations at a festival hall where Goya, the Greek Orthodox Youth of Australia, they were having a dance. So somehow they talked me into it to stay. So I stayed and we went to the dance. That was, see, 31st of December, I left Australia, Greece, to come to Australia. 31st of December is when I officially met my wife, Colleen, and I proposed to her. We just had a dance, and at the time I was a member in Sydney of a dancing group and a theatre group. So I was pretty up there with a dance for television and that sort of stuff, you know. So my friend, who knew my capabilities of dancing, used to push me, you know, with the Greek stuff starting, you know, the kalamatiana and all that. They pushed me up the front, and they'd never seen anything like it, you know. Up here was pretty bland, pretty, you know. So everybody was asking, who is this guy that dances in front? My sister-in-law, my wife's sister, she didn't know. She said, his name is Steve and he's from Sydney. Anyway, later on, we danced because the only girl I knew there, it was Colleen and her sister, of course. Sister was a little bit older than her. So we danced all night, you know, the old dances, tangos, and then the cha-chas and all that sort of stuff. And I gave me a chance to tell her who I was, and about my siblings and my parents in Greece and all that. And all of a sudden I said, oh, well, I'll do it anyway. If I get a slap in the face, so be it. I says, do you speak enough Greek? I want to talk to you in Greek. He said, yeah. He says, all right. I says, I want to marry you. This is all in Greek. He says, I says, oh, here comes, is he going to faint? Or is he going to slap me? Or is he going to walk away screaming? He says, okay. That was it. And then, see, all the table, the friends we were sitting with, they thought, oh, just a bit advanced from Colleen to dance so close to this guy, you know, and never dance with anybody else. And then Colleen, when I said that, I proposed to her. She said, can we go outside? You know, a festival hall outside, it was a booth, a phone booth. He said, would you we'll go outside and ring up Mum because her parents didn't come to the dance. So I just rang up the number and the mother says, hey, Mum, he said, yeah, what's wrong, Colin? What's wrong? He said, you know the guy that came up with Sotiri from Sydney, you know, they knew my friend. He said, yeah. He said, what about him? He says, he just asked me to marry him. He says, and what did you say? I said, oh, yeah, the woman is going to start screaming now, the mother. He says, I said, yeah. He says, good. When you finish from there, bring him over. So that was the beginning of my relationship with my in-laws. Beautiful, beautiful years. I fell in love with my father-in-law before I fell in love with my wife. We got engaged on the 20th of January 1968, and then we got married 6 months later, which is about the 9th of June, up here in Brisbane, St. George. The priest was Father Gregory. We went for honeymoon down the coast for a few days. Then I had to go back to Sydney, and we drove down. My father-in-law had a beautiful big black Pontiac, and we drove down to Sydney, and then they came down, flew down, and picked the car up again. Brisbane, I love living in Brisbane because you can't compare it to Sydney. Sydney is a hustle, bustle, and too much for me, even the earlier days. Brisbane's been good to me. I work at my parquetry and floor sanding business up north, Mackay, for a year, living in a caravan. Then when I came down, I got a shop in West End, the old Venus stores, if you remember, yeah. And then I worked for the airlines, TAA, Australian Airlines, and then become Qantas for 25 years. Yeah. Then I retired. I worked just as a worker, a porter. We took advantage of the work, and every year I would go back and see my parents and my sister there for 4 weeks, or sometimes with my son, he was young, and then with my wife twice in a row, every year just about. Then when our son went to school, high school and all that, he couldn't just give up his studies, so I used to travel on my own for 4 weeks. We had one big, long, 4.5 months European and North African tour. It was absolutely beautiful. From Turkey to Morocco. Really lovely, lovely, lovely. We'll never forget that. The highlights was the different cultures. You travel half an hour from a country to country, and you speak different language, and you eat different food, and that's what we loved. Yeah, people were friendly. No, we had no problems whatsoever. Absolutely beautiful. Our favorite part was Spain and Turkey. We started in Spain. We started from Madrid, Salamanca, went up in Portugal. We went down to the southern part of Spain. We went to Gibraltar. From there, we went across to Morocco. In Britain, we done England, Wales, Ireland, Scotland. Yeah, it was good everywhere. Beautiful, lush, green, and friendly people. Sometimes you couldn't understand the accent, a bit heavy, but it was good. It was good. We loved it. We went to Balmoral. We went to the one in Scotland. Yeah, that's it. Holyrood. Yeah, that's it. We've got 3 granddaughters, Mia, Stephanie, and Monica. Oh, now they're 30, 28, and 34, 36, something like that. Yeah, but we also have great-grandchildren, 1 boy and three girls. Yeah, and that's what is this all about, is to leave something for them, to remember their papa. My favorite singer, a Greek of course, his name is George Dalaras. There's no better singer in the world as far as I'm concerned. Oh, what don't I like about him? I like everything about him. He sings modern songs with life in it, what life is all about. He sings in English, Spanish, Hebrew, French. You know, just is my idol. I was lucky enough to meet him and heard a lot of his concerts here and in Greece as well. My favorite actor will have to be Al Pacino. It's a lot of actors in his standards, I think. But him I like. There's something about this. He's very, very good. Serpico, The Godfather, all that sort of, yeah, all these lovely movies he made over the years. I believe it was Mikis Theodorakis, the composer of Zorba the Greek, that wrote the soundtrack of Serpico, yeah. GOC Care, we joined about a couple of years ago. We used to do the trips, you know, the bus trips to go everywhere. And me and my wife, Colleen, we enjoy that. We make new friends and nice. But on Tuesdays, go to the center there. It was good because I met up with people I haven't seen for many, many years. And they're singing along. They've got a young girl there called Christina, and she's lovely. She's a music therapist, and we seem to like all the old songs. You know, I love the old songs. Yeah, yeah, good. I love it. I look forward to you. Positive is my grandkids and our great-grandkids, and our son, of course. Health-wise, we're not doing too well, but who does at my age? I spend quite a bit of time, as much as we can, as much as they can, because they live a busy life, you know, and kids and all that. But they manage to, we'll put a plate of spaghetti down, a bit of a barbecue, and they come around and, yeah, they enjoy Papu's yayas, rocking horse, and no, it's good. Just one thing I wanted to say before it's all finished, that if my granddaughters see this, which is very likely they will, all my life it's been about my son and my granddaughters. And lately, the addition is my great-granddaughters and a great-grandson. I want them to know I love them, and I always will. I'll always be with them, either now or in spirit or whatever, I'll always love them. That's all. This is something that when I was volunteering at St. Nicholas Nursing Home for quite many years, I spent a lot of time with the elderly there, and they were telling me stories about their lives, and just all of a sudden clicked. It clicked to me that these people that they're gonna go, the end of their life, and nobody would know their story, not even their kids knew their story. So I might question the board of directors if I can write a story, something for the family. But they liked the idea, so they printed the books as well. That's their production, really. I was involved in voluntary work in a variety of roles. Preparing meals for the senior citizens, to writing life stories of our community members in St. Nicholas Nursing Home. My contribution led to a nomination for the Australian of the Year Awards in 2007, an achievement which I'm very, very proud of.